All right, so welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the DJI Power 1000 portable power station.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We're going to be kind of breaking down a YouTube review from a tech enthusiast who put this thing through its paces.
Okay.
And you know what makes this review particularly interesting is that the reviewer is already a big DJI fan.
Oh, yeah.
He's used their drones, microphones, and has been consistently impressed by the quality of their products.
Yeah, they make great stuff.
They do. So when DJI stepped into the portable power station market,
Right.
he was really excited to see what they could do.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
DJI is known for pushing the envelope, especially when it comes to drones and camera equipment.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see what kind of innovation they brought to this new product category.
For sure, for sure. So let's dive into some of the key specs and features right out of the gate.
Okay.
This DJI Power 1000 boasts a 1,000-watt output
Okay.
and a lifespan of up to 4,000 charge cycles.
Wow, 4,000 charge cycles. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Right. That's a lot more than I think most power stations that I've looked at.
Yeah, most portable power stations on the market. You're lucky to get half of that.
Right.
So it seems like DJI is really emphasizing longevity here, which is great to see.
Well, especially if you're using it for like emergency backup or something like that, or you're taking it camping,
Right.
if you're going to depend on it.
You want something reliable,
Yeah.
something that's going to last.
You want it to last. So, I think that's something that people are really going to appreciate.
Absolutely. It's interesting because when you hear these big numbers, like 1,000 watts,
Right.
it can be hard to really grasp what that means
Yeah.
practically.
Yeah. Like, what does that actually translate to?
Yeah, like, can I run my refrigerator off of
Yeah,
this thing?
Exactly.
So to put it in perspective, 1,000 watts is enough to power your essential devices like laptops, phones, lights, even a small refrigerator or a coffee maker.
Oh, okay. So, like, if you're camping or you're tailgating,
Absolutely.
that's pretty sweet.
Exactly. It gives you a good amount of power without being too bulky or heavy to carry around.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, the reviewer seemed really excited about the car charging feature. With an optional car charger accessory, you can fully charge this power station in under 80 minutes.
Whoa, that's incredibly fast. I mean, typically charging a power station from a wall outlet can take several hours.
Right.
This is a game changer, especially for people who are always on the go or who rely on their vehicles for work.
Yeah, like I immediately thought about RVers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to fully charge your power station while you're driving to your next destination.
Yeah.
You never have to worry about finding an outlet or waiting around for hours to recharge.
Yeah, and that could even come in handy just on like a road trip.
Oh, yeah.
If you're using your power station to like charge your devices and stuff, you can just top it up quickly while you're at a gas station or something.
It's so convenient and it gives you so much more flexibility.
Right, exactly. And what I found interesting too is that they highlighted the two-way charging capability.
Oh, that's a great point.
So not only can the power station charge from your car, but it can also charge your car battery.
It's like having a built-in jump starter.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, that could be a lifesaver in so many situations.
Totally. Yeah, if you accidentally leave your headlights on or something.
Or if your battery is getting old and unreliable.
Right. Or if you're out tailgating and you've got like the music blasting and you've got all the, like a TV going.
All the electronics draining your car battery.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you just hook up this power station, give it a boost, and you're good to go. No need to call for roadside assistance.
That's great. So the reviewer put this power station to the test and connected a DeWalt air compressor and a fan to it.
Oh, wow. So they were really trying to push it to its limits.
Yeah, he was really trying to see how much it could handle and how it would perform under a realistic load.
It's one thing to see the specs on paper,
Right.
but it's another thing to see how it actually performs in the real world.
Exactly. And a lot of power stations might claim to have high wattage output, but can they actually deliver when it matters?
Right. They might not be able to sustain that power for very long.
Yeah, so in this test, the air compressor was drawing around 250 watts.
Okay.
And when they added the fan, the total wattage jumped to 342, but the DJI Power 1000 handled it without any issues.
That's impressive. So it was able to maintain a consistent output even with a fairly heavy load.
It didn't even flinch.
That's reassuring. It gives
Yeah.
you a good idea of what this power station is capable of.
Yeah, it means you can realistically run power tools, small appliances, and other essential devices without worrying about overloading it.
It's not just for charging your phone or laptop.
Right, exactly. Like I said, maybe a small refrigerator or something like that.
It really expands the possibilities of what you can do with a portable power station.
Yeah, you could run a small workshop off of this thing if you needed to.
You could. or power your campsite for a weekend getaway.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. One thing I always appreciate about DJI is their attention to detail
Yeah.
and user experience. Did the reviewer mention anything about the controls or the interface on this tower station?
Yeah, he said that you can actually monitor and control everything through a smartphone app via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi.
Really? Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you can see things like battery life, power consumption, and even control individual outlets.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can turn things on and off remotely.
Exactly. It gives you a lot of flexibility and control over how you're using your power.
That's fantastic. And it makes it super easy to monitor your usage and make sure you're not wasting energy.
It's a great feature, especially for people who are new to using portable power stations.
And yeah, it can be a little intimidating if you've never used one before.
There are so many buttons and ports, and it can be overwhelming.
But having a user-friendly app that walks you through everything,
That makes a huge difference.
that makes it so much easier. All right, so we've talked about the power output, the incredible battery life, that crazy fast car charging, and those convenient app controls.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive package so far.
Right. But there's actually one more feature that I think is worth mentioning, and that's expandability.
Expandability. What do you mean by that?
So the reviewer mentioned that you can actually add additional DJI batteries to this power station,
Oh, wow.
essentially doubling or even tripling your power capacity.
So you could potentially create a really powerful setup if you needed to.
Exactly. And that's where I think things start to get really interesting. We're not just talking about a backup battery for emergencies anymore.
Right.
This is like a portable power grid that could give you the freedom to work, play, or even live off grid.
Yeah, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities, doesn't it?
It really does. And that's something we'll definitely delve into further in part 2 of our deep dives.
Okay, I'm excited to hear more about that.
But first, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the bigger picture. How do you see portable power stations like this impacting our lives in the coming years?
Well, I think we're on the verge of a major shift in how we think about and use energy.
Yeah.
As these portable power stations
Right.
become more affordable and more powerful.
Yeah.
And especially as they start to integrate more seamlessly with renewable energy sources like solar.
Right.
We're going to have a level of energy independence that we just haven't had before.
Yeah, and that's what's so fascinating to me about this whole topic.
Right.
Is it's we've always been so tethered to the grid,
Yeah.
and now it's what if we could just break free from that?
Exactly. And that's what these portable power stations are starting to allow us to do.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to work remotely from anywhere.
Right.
You could be out in the middle of the woods
Yeah.
or, on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, or on a boat or something.
Exactly. And you could still have all the power you need to get your work done.
That's amazing.
It is. And it's not just about work. Think about off-grid living.
Right.
People are increasingly interested in living more sustainably
Yeah.
and reducing their reliance on traditional power sources.
Right.
And these portable power stations, coupled with solar panels or wind turbines,
Right.
could really make that a reality for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's really cool to think about all the different ways that this could change how we live.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just our homes and our workspaces too.
Yeah.
Think about recreation,
Oh, yeah.
camping trips, RVing, boating.
Right.
All of these activities become so much more accessible and enjoyable
Yeah.
when you have a reliable source of portable power.
Yeah. No more worrying about finding a campsite with hookups or
Exactly.
having to pack a generator.
Yeah, we're running out of power in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just bring your power with you.
It's so cool.
It is a very exciting time.
It is. But, we've been talking a lot about the big picture here and all the exciting possibilities. But I think we should bring it back down to earth for a minute
Okay.
and talk about the practical side of things.
Right.
Because I'm sure there are people listening to this who are thinking okay, this all sounds great, but should I actually buy this thing?
Absolutely. That's a really important question.
What are the main reasons that this power station stands out from all the other ones on the market?
Yeah, so let's break that down a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
I think first and foremost, you've got the reputation of the DJI brand.
Yay.
They're known for making incredibly high quality, reliable products.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
They don't. And this power station seems to be no exception.
Yeah.
And I think that peace of mind is invaluable,
Right.
especially when you're relying on a power source for critical devices or in emergency situations.
Totally. You don't want to be in the middle of a power outage
Right.
and have your power station fail on you.
Exactly. You need something that you can trust.
Right. So that's a big plus for DJI.
Absolutely. And then on top of that,
Yeah.
You've got those impressive technical specs that we talked about.
Right.
You know, that 1,000-watt output
Yeah.
gives you enough juice to run a lot more than just your phone or your laptop.
Right.
You could power small appliances, power tools, even some medical equipment.
Okay.
So it's really versatile in that sense.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 4,000 charge cycles, which is just incredible.
Wow.
I mean, most power stations
Yeah.
don't even come close to that.
It's like twice as much as most power stations, I think.
Yeah, it really is. So this is an investment
Yeah.
that's built to last for years,
Right.
which I think is a huge selling point.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you consider, if you're using this for emergencies or off-grid living.
Right. You need something dependable,
Yeah.
something that's not going to let you down.
And we can't forget about that super fast car charging capability.
Oh, yeah, that's a game changer.
Less than 80 minutes to fully charge this thing from your car.
It's incredible. I mean, that opens up so many possibilities,
Right.
especially for people who are always on the move.
Yeah, like road trippers, RVers, people who work out of their vehicles.
Exactly. You know, you can just stop for a quick lunch,
Yeah.
top up your power station, and be on your way.
That's amazing. And one of the things that really stood out to me
Yeah.
was the modularity of this system.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
The fact that you can add additional batteries to it,
Right.
to increase the capacity.
It's brilliant.
It's such a smart idea because it means you're not stuck with a one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly.
You can tailor it to your specific needs and budget.
Right. You can start with the basic unit,
Yeah.
and then if you find that you need more power,
Yeah.
you can just add another battery.
It's so smart.
It is. It's a really well thought out design.
Speaking of budget, did the reviewer mention anything about the price?
You know, he didn't get into any specifics about the pricing,
Okay.
but considering the brand, the advanced features, and the overall quality,
Right.
I think it's safe to assume that this is going to be positioned in that mid to upper price range
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
for portable power stations.
It sounds like you get what you pay for, though.
I think so. I think you're definitely getting a premium product here.
Right.
But ultimately, the best way to know for sure
Yeah.
is to compare it to other power stations in a similar price range
Okay.
and really consider your own individual needs
Right.
and how you plan to use it.
Okay, now, we talked about how the car charging is such a great feature.
Yeah.
And it could be a game changer for people who spend a lot of time in their cars.
Right.
But what about someone who doesn't drive that much?
That's a great question.
Is this power station still a good option for them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, while that super fast car charging is definitely a standout feature,
Yeah.
it's not the only thing that makes this power station appealing.
Right.
Even if you're primarily planning to use it at home for backup power during outages
Okay.
or for occasional camping trips.
Yep.
The high power output, the long lifespan, and those user-friendly controls
Right.
make it a really solid choice regardless.
Okay, cool.
So don't let the car charging aspect be the deciding factor
Right.
if you don't need it.
Okay, so it sounds like even without the car charging,
Yeah,
it still holds its own.
absolutely. It's a versatile power solution
Yeah.
that can adapt to a variety of situations.
Yeah. I like that a lot. We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about like the specs and the features and potential use cases
Yeah,
and even the price considerations.
right.
But before we wrap up, I want to circle back
Okay.
to that bigger picture that we were talking about earlier.
You mean the idea of portable power
Yeah.
transforming the way we live
Yeah, exactly.
and interact with the world?
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in like the specifics
Right.
of a particular product.
Absolutely.
But I think it's so important to step back
Yeah.
and think about like the broader implications of this technology.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're on the verge of a paradigm shift here
Yeah.
in how we think about and use energy.
Yeah.
And these portable power stations like the DJI Power 1000
Right.
are at the forefront of that shift.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes this conversation so exciting.
It is.
It's not just about a product.
Right.
It's about like a whole new way of living.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important
Yeah.
to approach this technology
Yeah.
with, a balanced and critical perspective.
Right, because there are potential downsides too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
No technology is without its risks and challenges.
Right. And I think that's what we need to talk about next.
Okay, let's do it. It's easy to get caught up in all the positives,
Yeah.
but we have to remember no technology is perfect.
Yeah. What are some of the things we should be keeping in mind as portable power becomes more common?
Well, one thing that immediately comes to mind is the environmental impact. Producing batteries requires a lot of resources and energy,
Mm-hmm.
and if we're not careful, we could end up creating a whole new set of problems.
That's a good point. Like, we don't want to solve our reliance on fossil fuels only to create a massive e-waste problem.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really important to choose companies that are committed to sustainability.
Okay, so what should we be looking for?
Look for brands that use recycled materials in their batteries
Mm-hmm.
and that have transparent supply chains so you can see where those materials are coming from.
Okay, so transparency is key.
It is. And also look for companies that offer end-of-life recycling programs for their batteries.
Oh, that's a good one. So you know that your old power station isn't just going to end up in a landfill somewhere.
Exactly. As consumers, we have a lot of power to influence the industry by supporting companies that are doing things the right way.
Yeah, we vote with our wallets.
Exactly. And I think another thing to consider is, the potential for misuse.
What do you mean?
Well, as portable power stations become more powerful and more readily available,
Right.
could they be used for things that are harmful or even dangerous?
Oh, I see what you mean. It's like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So it's important to be aware of the potential risks.
Yeah, and to use this technology responsibly.
Exactly. And to have open and honest conversations about the ethical implications.
I think that's a really important point. It's
Yeah.
not just about the cool features and the convenience.
Right.
It's also about thinking critically about how this technology impacts the world around us.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
Me too. I think it's been a really insightful discussion.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have, and we started by looking at the DJI Power 1000,
Yeah,
but I think we've really explored so much more than that.
we have. We've delved into the future of energy,
Yeah, the potential benefits and challenges of portable power,
the ethical considerations.
and the role that consumers play in shaping this technology.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It really has, and I hope our listeners feel empowered to continue learning and thinking about this topic.
Me too. This is just the beginning of the conversation.
Right, and who knows, maybe our next deep dive will be inspired by one of you.
I'd love that.
So keep those questions and ideas coming.
Absolutely. And until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay powered up.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.